All right, you got the idea, you bought the LLC, and you maybe even launched a website. Now what? When people tell me they're starting a business, I hear a lot about launch parties or album release parties or watch parties, but how do you even run the business? I know I put a lot of energy into launching my business, but I didn't give enough thought into how to run my business. And that's like putting all your time, energy, and money into the wedding, and you haven't thought at all about the husband, the marriage, or the life that comes after. So for Thirsty Thursday on Dear Black Gay Men podcast, I'm talking to two business owners trying to figure out how we go from being a Black queer employee with a business on the side to a Black queer business owner with employees. If you want to support a Black queer owned business, you can shop Feeling Blue collection. I'm wearing it today on dearblackgaymen.shop. It's the easiest way to support what we do here at Dear Black Gay Men podcast. Visit dearblackgaymen.shop and use code LionVisionPhotos for 15% off your order. Now, let's get into it. This episode is for all the side hustle baddies. This is Gay in Business Explained. And the show starts right now. What up, though? I am Jay the Gentleman. That's at JAI the Gentleman on IG and Facebook. And welcome to Thirsty Thursday right here on Dear Black Gay Men podcast. A couple years ago, a failed date led me to record my first episode of Dear Black Gay Men, and I didn't realize it then, but I took the first steps to start a gay business, and I was lost as hell. I am thankful to a whole bunch of people who guided me along the way, and I dedicate this episode to paying it forward. Tonight, I'm joined by two black gay men who are running successful business ventures of their own. My first guest is a singer, songwriter, photographer, and the founder and CEO of House of Jones Co. And you may recognize him from Chasing Dallas. We're going to talk about that. And then my second guest runs a successful PR firm with clients like Amber Riley, Mac Wiles, and BJ, the Chicago Kid. He is also the host of Eat, Pray, Thought podcast. Can't wait to talk about that. Please welcome JC Jones and Savoy Jefferson to the show. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm awesome.
I'm good.
Savoy, how you doing?
I'm good. I can't complain.
So before the show, Savoy said the most blasphemous thing ever and said Georgia is not on the East Coast. How you come to that conclusion, IDK? But
I actually, if we're going to quote me, let's quote me correctly. I said, as somebody who lives, because remember, I'm a publicist, babe. So,
yes. Knowing the headline is important.
Exactly. I said, as somebody who lived in New York City for 11 years,
yes,
people on the East Coast don't consider Atlanta the East Coast. It's DC, Philly, some parts of Virginia, like
some parts of most of New England as well, I would imagine.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, to that end, I guess you got a point because Atlanta
Georgia's
is the jewel of the South.
Yeah.
Atlanta is the jewel of the South, so I'm here for that. JC, you are in Dallas, and I hear you just opened your second location, your second studio location.
I did. It's a penthouse. We're in the heart of downtown Dallas. Penthouse rooftop, 8,000 square feet. So just, literally moving on up.
Literally. Now, I will say to the east side, but then Savoy's going to have a whole commentary about that. So there's that. Okay.
I literally sang to the east side. Plus my last name is Jefferson, so it works.
It all tracks that you'd be something east aside from the fact that you live in Los Angeles. It's okay. So for tonight's conversation, I know I'm going to need a cocktail. I told y'all this is going to be a good one because I can feel the energy already. Are y'all sipping on anything? JC, what are you sipping on?
I have some tequila that I have to get from the bar. I actually left it there, but I'm going to, I've been sipping, and that's the reason I was sipping on it and probably left it because I was sipping on it. So, but I will be getting it throughout the episode. I'm on Casamigos and pineapple juice. That's like my go-to.
I have told everybody that tequila will have me half naked on the internet, so I stay away from it. And it's not the half that is publicist approved. So let me just leave that there.
Hopefully we don't have that experience with me tonight.
I mean,
I've already left the drink, so
Unless you want to, with consent.
Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Okay, Savoy, what are you sipping on?
I have water in my nice Jennifer Hudson mug. Jennifer
I
Hudson
mean,
show
you are
mug.
that was the publicist approved answer, but okay.
It's water with lemon juice.
Oh, fancy water. Got it.
Yes, because I'm a classy broad.
Got it. Well, thank you both for that. Special thanks to Bottled for being a continued sponsor of Thirsty Thursday and making it possible for you guys, everybody watching, to taste deliciously crafted cocktails. To pick up your bottled cocktail, visit bottled.co and use our exclusive coupon code at checkout for 15% off and free shipping. Remember, for bottled cocktails, shake and pour over ice. Are y'all ready for this?
Ready as I'm gonna be.
Everybody says that. I'm always so curious, but we'll get to it later. Let's get into the episode. Okay, teammates, there's always something to talk about in gay culture. Aaron, you got to change the thing for me. There we go. There's always a lot happening in the gay world, so I want to hear everybody's opinion on some current events. On the gay edition of Love or Pop the Balloon, have y'all seen Love or Pop the Balloon?
That is literally my guilty pleasure right now.
What about you, Savoy? Have you seen it, Love or Pop the Balloon? Like, if you like them, you keep the balloon. If you don't, you pop it.
I've seen the clips. I am not interested in going beyond clips.
Okay.
Okay.
So on the gay edition of Love or Pop the Balloon, this happened. Check this out.
What sexual position are you?
Wow, we go straight to the juggler. Bottom.
I was about to say, because you could be whatever you want to today.
I am always.
Come on, we like that. And we like that. And
what I always got me is that, so the host name is Luffy. His Instagram is sincerely_Luffy. And every pop of the balloon, he jumping like he didn't give him the balloons. Like, I don't. It was the thing. But the question, why do you think it's so hard for the girls to say they a bottom?
Because it's so stigmatized, and I think that, even like throughout history, like the Black gay man has been like, quote unquote, like supposed to be this macho, strong person. So even in gay culture, it's stigmatized being a quote unquote bottom, which I don't.
Why is it a quote unquote bottom? Why can't you just be a bottom?
Well, okay, and this is
because the girls don't want you to bottom. The girls don't want you to bottom.
Bottoms make the world go round.
I'm just saying there would be no tops without bottoms.
There would be nothing without bottoms. Every magnificent hairdresser, tongue pop.
Wow, see, there we go.
Like, all of it culture comes on the back of a bottom.
I can agree with that.
I think that's part of the problem.
Why is that part of the problem?
Because you immediately went to hairdressers. And I think that is an immediate assumption that bottoming, and because Black gay men have an issue around femininity, is
right.
The idea is that if you are a bottom, you are feminine, which and as we know, makes you less, quote unquote, less of a man. Don't add in if you're dark skinned, if you actually are feminine, or plus size, or whatever the case may be, then you really are.
Okay. I give you that, but the reason why I went to those particular examples is because that is where culture happens. That is where all of the amazing components of our culture are born. Style is born on the back of bottoms, creativity, and whatnot.
But how do we actually know that everybody
that's feminine is a bottom?
But also, how do you know? But how do you know that these people are all bottoms? That's what I want to know. Like, why are you
more often? I mean, you can argue me down about that point. I'll give you that one. But I bottoms make the world go round, and I stand 10 toes down on that one.
Look, we tell bottoms you can have dick, but not too much. Okay, so
I don't, but I get that that's said in our culture. I believe a bottom can have whatever he or she wants.
I mean, I agree.
Because I am if being for women's rights is being a feminist, then I am absolutely a bottomist.
Okay, come on.
Okay.
I am not a bottom though. I'm not man enough for that.
Not many are.
Yeah, not many are. And so it's so funny because you always, I'm an avid watcher of the show, and so you guys had a whole thing about was it soft tops? Is it soft tops? Is that the term?
Yes.
So if you have soft tops, I guess I would be considered a hard bottom.
I see that. I absolutely see that.
Because I think that is what makes me attracted to soft tops for whatever. Because that is literally low-key all I've dated before there was even like a term.
Are you flirting with me?
Well, I mean, I'm single.
Me too. We'll talk about that after the show. But yeah, I mean, I see hard bottom for you, like shoes, hard bottom shoes.
So I think we need to bring that term. Maybe that is like that will help to destigmatize.
But now, jokes aside, I agree completely with what y'all are saying. That there is that even I in this conversation, I'll agree that I pigeonhole that femininity and bottoms are like these interchangeable terms. They are not. You can be a hard bottom, you can be a masculine bottom, you can be a feminine bottom, you can be a whole bunch of kind of bottoms, and I appreciate every single one of them. Let me be clear about that. But I do think we need to bring some dynamics to the conversation about who can be a bottom. Now, this motherfucker, I think he got choked up because he didn't want to be a bottom in a room full of other bottoms as a balloon started popping.
I completely agree.
So there's that. And like tall bottoms, I think that's also a microcosm in itself, just like masculine or hard or all the things. People just assume bottoms are these little twinks. And those, quiet as it's kept, are the boring ones.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get canceled for that one. Let's go to the next one.
I think it's very important that people do associate height with your position.
I agree.
Now, before we get to this next point, I will say that the way people perceive my position changed when I started gaining weight. I used to be really skinny, and people always assumed I was a bottom, even though I'm the same position now that I was then. Just I gained 100 pounds. So people put a whole bunch of different definitions on what it means to be like top, bottom, verse, all the things.
And in 2024, you literally never know.
Unless you have a podcast like me.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then y'all know I like to eat the butt. Okay, so let's keep going. My question is do y'all know who owns Coachella?
No, I don't actually. Is it a group or is it a person?
It's a group. It's called AEG. They own Coachella and they also fund many anti-LGBT candidates and initiatives. Does it matter though? Do you think the girls care?
No.
I don't think that they care, but I think that they should. Because ultimately you're helping to fund, because where do they get their money from? They're consumers.
Yes. So
ultimately you are contributing to these anti-LGBTQ laws, XYZ, whatever. And you're a part of that community. So it's like it's like self-hate type of thing, but not even realizing it.
Yes. What you got to say about that, Savoy?
I think it's a very nuanced conversation. I think at the end of the day, like, if we don't support everything that is if we stop supporting everything that is racist, anti-gay, black, anti-trans, there would basically be nothing to eat. There would be no, it would be no Target. There would be like even whoever. There you would not be able to go to we know there would be no Chick-fil-A. There'd be no McDonald's. There'd be no shit.
The funny
there'd
thing
be no
is,
grocery store.
The funny thing is, I'm on the south side of Atlanta, right? Going to handle some business. I'm wearing this shirt, eating at Chick-fil-A.
Wow.
When I tell you, they didn't give me my pleasure when I walked in there today. They say they give me extra sauce with my 4-piece tenders. They wanted me up out of there.
They'll take your money, but just not your lifestyle.
They'll take a whole bunch of things, but just not who I am. And that is the reason why I would not. I made a decision today because of that experience to me and Chick-fil-A might be done. Let's keep going. We couldn't let this moment pass. We've been joking a lot, but in all seriousness, we couldn't let this moment pass without acknowledging the murder of Nurse Carlos Collins of Jackson, Mississippi. May he rest in peace. I've had a hard time dealing with this one because we do this podcast, hopefully, to remind Black gay men of how dope it is to be Black gay men who love Black gay men. So violence within a relationship or from someone you love hurts all of us a little bit more than expected. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family as they gather themselves after this tragic loss. Thank you both for this piece of the conversation. Savoy is going to be rejoining us a little later, but JC dropped a bombshell about his business on episode 2 of the reality series he is currently starring in called Chasing Dallas. Check this out.
You know, I just got out of a relationship or whatever like that, right? Which, whatever. But I believe wholeheartedly that I would not have this space if I was still in my relationship.
So, JC Jones, what about your relationship kept you from starting your business or opening your studio space?
I think it was, I just kind of lost myself. I'm not sure if people are familiar with being like, or narcissism. It's like a whole like epidemic that's like going on right now. Like I've deep dived into all this research about narcissists and narcissistic personality disorder. There's actually like a diagnosis for it, but narcissistic traits, gaslighting. I was gaslit a lot. Anytime I would have an issue or a question about something, I was always gaslit. And so, which had me questioning myself, questioning my self-worth, questioning, okay, is this idea really gonna work? So became depressed. And actually, no, I didn't become depressed. And I said that I was going to stop saying that recently. I didn't become oppressed. I was oppressed. So, which caused me to doubt myself. And my self-doubt is what ultimately deterred me from going out on my own and getting my own space and whatnot.
And so when you started your business after coming out of this relationship. That's what you talked about on that episode of Chasing Dallas. Mm-hmm. Like, did you just like, oh, I'm gonna break up, start a business? Like, was this like bing, bang, boom? No, or did it take time?
Well, here's the thing. No, I've always had my business. I've had my business since 2011. The thing about it is when I got into the relationship, I put my needs and my wants on the back burner in hopes of gaining the love and adoration and I guess love bombing that I was getting at the initial start of the relationship. So that's kind of what happened. I was myself, at the beginning, and then as the relationship goes, and it's kind of like a game of manipulation. They start taking love away from you, and then like you start trying to do whatever you can to get it back, not really understanding and knowing that it'll never get back to where it was because it was never real to begin with.
So let me ask you a different question than what I was going for. Aaron, I hope you're bearing with me. But if you were in a healthy relationship, do you think that would have changed how you ran your business or how you branched out?
Yes, I do. Most wholeheartedly, I do believe if I was in a healthy relationship where I wasn't insecure or where things were being reciprocated, like I was just pouring. Mm-hmm. And at one point I had to realize like, well, dang, like, what am I getting out of this situation? It was nothing. So if I was in a relationship that was healthier, I think that, the relationship would have thrived, and that's what I ultimately wanted. But unfortunately, that wasn't in the cards. So
I mean, I know somewhere you can pour.
I'm sorry?
I know somewhere you can pour.
Well, where is that actually?
There's this guy that I met the other day, and he might be a willing vessel.
Okay, well, what?
I'll send you a link.
Let's see.
I'll send you a link. He has some connections to Dallas.
Okay.
So shifting gears. So how is it managing? Because now that you're single and you are a business owner, you're a successful entrepreneur. Is it easy managing being ambitious and driven toward business and finding love? Are you able to do both at the same time? Are you trading one for the other? How is that working for you?
right now, and it's been a year since my breakup, I'm finally in the position to where I can even like kind of entertain somebody if I wanted to.
Mhm.
Before, I was just like knees to bootstraps on, knees to the ground. Like I'm not even worried about nothing. I'm head focused on myself. And I think that's what most people do. Like when they get out of a relationship, I just kind of took it to the extreme, and I'm really like pumped into myself and into my business, and was like, I'm gonna do this now. So, but yeah, like I think that kind of was it. You know, I just kind of was knees to the ground. But dating now for me, and also too,
Knees
like
to
I'm
the
a
ground, you
single
say?
dad. Well, that's another conversation. We talk about legs to the moon or knees on the ground.
I really want to talk about that, but that's not the topic here. That's not the conversation we're trying to have right now. But go ahead.
But being a single dad also, that has taken up precedence and a priority alongside my business. So anybody that comes into my life now, like, you know, you have to show me that you can reciprocate what I'm bringing, because I'm bringing the table to the table. You know, you got to at least bring
But
a
I'm
table.
really curious because I know a lot of people, a lot of Black men especially, when they get into something new, whether it is a relationship, a business, a new job, they start school, when they are pursuing one thing,
Mm-hmm.
everything else is impacted. And so I'm curious if is it even possible to pursue love and be as motivated and as committed to your business at the same time? Are those things possible?
I believe that it is if you're in a in a supportive and relationship that reciprocates.
Okay. Okay.
I just have never been in that.
And the weird thing for me is that I don't know that I could do both. Like I'm knees to the ground, as you said, about my business, running this whole machine, right? And I don't think I have enough to give to somebody who doesn't also get the grind that is necessary to run a
Well,
business.
that's what it is. It's the reciprocation. It's so funny. Somebody was trying to talk to me today, and I kept talking about business, and they were like, "Well, I just want to get to know you." I was like, "Well, the best way to get to know me is to get to know my business, because that is a part of who I am right now." Like, you know,
Mhm.
so it's very interesting because I'm so focused on myself right now, which is different than I've ever been in my life. But it's interesting how I kind of deter people away too that are not about business. But I think that's a good thing. Now.
I'm now granted enough. I have not run my business since 2011, as you have just said. I ain't 13 years in. I'm 3
Now,
seasons.
granted, when I say 2000, I've had my LLC since 2011.
You've been paying taxes on that bitch since 2011.
What is that?
You've been paying taxes on that bitch since 2011.
Exactly. Now, my actual operations probably started like for certainly during COVID is when I really like geared it up. Met the guy, got distracted.
If your current venture is a COVID baby, then mine is too. 2021 is when I was like, oh, let's make this a thing. We'll talk about how we get to that in just a second. Okay. All right, let's get ready for a break. Later in the show, we will be answering your burning questions. JC and Savoy and I will be answering your burning questions. Drop a comment and let us know how you support your friends that are entrepreneurs. Let me know in the comments. Tonight, the conversation is getting real. You know someone who is starting a business or already in the thick of it, send this YouTube link to them and tag them in the comments. This is Gay in Business Explained, and we will be right back.
Did you know that there are more than 38.4 million people living with HIV globally? Or that 13% of people who have HIV in the US don't know it? Did you know that there are HIV vaccine clinical trials throughout the US to find a vaccine that can stop HIV? Or that they need volunteers? Learn more about how you can help at helpendhiv.org.
Welcome back to Dear Black Gay Men podcast. JC Jones and Savoy are joining us as successful entrepreneurs in entertainment. Hey, Savoy. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Why did I have to get all that? That wasn't a
Okay.
very excited hey. It was like, hey, boy.
Hey, Savoy. I mean, but I enjoy talking to you. But
Okay.
now the question I have for you is on the back of the conversation JC and I just had. Do you think that it is possible? It is easy to pursue your business with passion, with commitment, with drive, to grind it out and pursue love at the same time? Can you do those things?
Yes, I think it's very possible. I think it's once it takes time though. It takes effort, which a lot of men don't know how to exert. But I think you got to understand that in general that there has to be a balance. So I think even when JC was saying like if you getting to know me means you gotta get to know my business, I keep those very much church and state. Like I don't even talk about. Yeah, I don't like people really have to go like I will tell you like yes, I own my own entertainment PR firm, but after that, like even just now, like Aaron was just like, boy, you got pictures of you and your clients because I don't see any of those. Like that's not something I do. Like I try to keep my business and who I am separate as much as possible. Now they're all parts of me, so they're all part of this who I am, but it's like I like to keep some separation, so to speak.
Like, would you keep the same separation if you were somebody's employee?
Yeah, because I mean, for me, yes, because I feel like when people hear that you work in entertainment, especially having worked the type of artists and actors and stuff I worked, they immediately
I can only imagine what they want to say.
Yeah, like they immediately like, oh, when did you like?
They want to be on some red carpet somewhere.
Yeah, like how
they look at it as a come up.
Exactly, and I think I told somebody
especially
today, like, I've
only been through it all.
I've only been here 2.5 years, but I think I was telling somebody today, I've been fortunate that I've just never. People generally know that I'm not that person, so like I've seen my friends have the users and people come into life because they want to be seen. You don't get that privilege with me. Number one, because I'm not that girl. Like I'm not out. Like if I'm out at an event, I'm working it. So
well, hold on. Let's clarify when you say you're not out because you on a show that's called Dear Black
No, I'm very gay. I'm very gay.
Okay.
No.
So
let me be clear.
You are
I'm
out.
Gay.
You're just not outside like that.
I'm gay. I'm gay. I'm a bottom.
Oh, because I didn't want to ask, but okay.
Oh no, I'm
throwing that out there.
Oh, I think it's always funny that people don't assume, but that's cute. I love that. Not really.
Okay, I could rabbit hole on that particular topic, but I don't assume anything. If like I assume somebody's gay, then I'll be like, "Are you straight?" Because anything else I can handle, but that's a whole different topic. Okay, so shifting gears a little bit for both of you. Something came up in the thing. Okay, so when you started the business, was it a side hustle? Quick question. Start with you, Savoy. Was it a side hustle for you, or did you go like balls to the wall, knees to the ground?
I guess now, at first I was about to say no, but no, it was a side hustle because I was working at a management firm at the time because I had just left RCA, and I was doing a few PR clients. On the side, and then I quickly realized that my boss at the time had scammed me, so to speak, and he was not who I thought he was. So I quickly just switched gears, and then it went from being one to two clients to being what it is now, which is I'll be celebrating 7 years later this month.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
Congratulations! I have an applause. So
Hercules.
The short story is they told me to get buttons because I needed sound effects, so I got sound effects over here. One of my favorites is
surprise, surprise.
Oh, I sing that randomly every day.
Okay, so JC, did your business start as a side hustle?
No, it did not. Actually, I said that I started my business in 2011. It started out as like a loan out company because I moved to LA to pursue acting and entertainment. And so I needed a LLC, and it kind of just evolved into what it is now, which is House of Jones. But it started out as something that I got business advice from someone that I met, in LA, and they were like, okay, well, you need to have your checks instead of going to a business and not to you personally. And that's how I got into that.
And so when you started, what is one piece of advice that you wish somebody would have gave you? JC, I'll start with you.
For me, one piece of advice, be delusional.
Be Delulu. Okay, we're going to talk about that a little later, but be Delulu. Okay, what about you, Savoy?
I think for me, more than anything, just like this can't become your everything.
It can become your.
It can.
Okay, got
it. Can't
it. Making sure I'm hearing you correctly.
Like, yes, it cannot become your everything because you will burn out that way.
The interesting thing is real. The interesting thing about both of y'all is it sounds like y'all had a good segue into your business. Both of you are working in entertainment. I do not consider myself someone who works in entertainment, but I ain't had no segue. Like, I got stood up for a date. And looking back, I'm like, this nigga stood me up. Me. Like, me. Stood
the gall.
The
audacity.
All of the audacity to stand me up. And in the moment, I was really upset about it. I was really in my feelings about this man because I had gotten my car waxed. I had gotten a fresh haircut. I had re-dyed my hair because I had deep waves and red hair at the time. I had bought a new fit and got my nails done. I was smelling good. And I'm getting ready to drive to this nigga house to pick him up and open the damn car door for him. And he gonna text me talking about my car's still in the shop. I can't make it today. Fuck you, motherfucker.
Wow.
Now, mind you, it paid off because, my car was shining and that is where Dear Black Hate Men was born. So it worked.
But I think that everything, and that also kind of goes into like another segue into like purpose and your purpose and your job. Some it's simultaneous. And like for you, I feel like like me and most of our purposes are born through something tragic that happened or something that is perceived negative or something that pushes us to do it. So you just found your purpose. But all your purpose is also your business. And ultimately, I think everyone wants their purpose to be their business. I don't think anyone really wants to work for anybody else. I think that's the ultimate goal is to work within or do your job, which is your purpose.
I didn't tell that story for you to drop a bombshell like that, but that was really good. that was really good because mine was getting stood for a day. I didn't get scammed like Savoy said because that's trashy.
Well, he got scammed, and for me, my catalyst was I was a young dad. I had 2 children, and my son's mother was not allowing me to see my sons, and I was in college, and my college professor was like, "Why are you here? You need to be in LA." And she pushed me to go
with
to
your
LA.
kids. You mean you need to be with your kids?
I'm sorry.
You need to be in LA to pursue your business, or you need to be LA with your kids. What is the significance of LA?
She was like, if she's not letting you see them and you're having such a difficult time to see them, you cannot see them and pursue your dreams. Why are you here?
Okay.
That's what pushed me to go because that's what was keeping me there for so long. So, and in that box, I'm originally from Shreveport, Louisiana, and I was going to college in Ruston, Louisiana Tech University. Shout out to Tamika Williams, my graphic design teacher, that really pushed me to go.
Come on, Shreveport. I went to LSU for a year.
So. Okay.
I have so many things to ask about that, but that's a totally different topic. So, Savoy, do you think you found your passion?
I think that my passion is ever changing. So I think, yeah. So I think right now, if I'm being completely honest, like I've been working in PR for 13 years, and I'm definitely preparing to transition out. Um, so yeah. So I think my purpose, my passions, they change. They grow like as I do. So
Are your purposes and your passion the same thing though? Or can they be the same
yes,
thing?
they can be, and I think they are. I think at the end of the day, like I said, I think they change.
Because I
Though
could be
I think
passionate about something, but that's not my ministry or my purpose.
that's fair, but I think for everybody it's different. But I think for me,
I
my
agree.
purpose and my passion, like I think when I first started in PR, my purpose or my passion was it was really R&B music, in particular, like black artists changing the landscape, changing the conversation around R&B. Because when I started in 2011, R&B was they were basically trying to push they were basically trying to just be done with R&B as a whole, and that was what I grew up on. So that was my motivator, so to speak. That was my passion. That was my purpose. I felt like was to make sure that R&B artists got their just due when it came to press. So I think for me, it's just it's changed. It evolves, and I think it changes.
And see, as you were talking, I was thinking, what is my purpose and passion, and are those different? And I think my purpose as a person is to set the girls free. I say that all the time. I want us to be able to see us as the most amazing part of Black culture. And I really and truly believe that Black gay men are that. Black gay men and those that are, culturally connected to us, like Black trans people, Black lesbians, and Black, and so on and so forth. But I think my passion is just talking to people. Like I could talk to anybody about anything. And the funny thing is, as I'm talking about this, so Aaron will create a script that has a whole bunch of questions in it, and I won't ask any of them, and I'll just be going off the top of my head. And he'll be sitting on the other side, like, I don't know what to do. Where do I go with the script? And I'll be like, you'll figure it out. You'll be strong. Okay.
And I think that my passion and my purpose.
I
think that my passion and purpose are definitely storytelling. So I think they're the same. Like I just like to tell stories. However that.
You mean like telling tales, like lying, or you telling stories like?
No.
Because back when I was growing up,
storytelling
where you was lying.
Okay, Grandma Eloise. I'm talking about telling the stories of Black people. I shall buy.
I see that. We're going to talk a little bit more about that after the break. Later in the show, Savoy and JC are going to be answering your burning questions. So make sure you drop them in the comments. I want to know, what Black gay business do you ride hard for? Let me know. And then later in the show, we'll be answering your feedback. This is Black Gay. Well, not Black, but Gay in Business. We'll be right back. What is stigma? I truly believe that it comes up when you think something can't happen to you. Like when we think we could never be femme, so we end up with femmephobia laced all up and through our dating profiles. Or when we don't be out there like that, so we slut shame people for doing openly what we try to sneak and do privately. But there aren't too many spaces where stigma rises to a criminal level like it does with HIV.
Knowingly gave her HIV and never told her he was infected.
We're talking to 4 Black men from across the country, all living with HIV. I want to see how stigma comes up in their lives and what we can all do to overcome it. Welcome back to Thirsty Thursday right here on Dear Black Gay Men podcast. Savoy and JC are joining us to talk a little bit about business. They are 2 successful business owners, and I want to shout out all the hopeful entrepreneurs that are watching. Being a business owner ain't the easiest thing in the world. So if you are ready to roll this hold this roll. I had it wrong. Hold this roll. Shout out to you. Okay, JC, Savoy.
Come on, roll the hoe.
Rhoda Ho. As soon as I said it, I said that don't sound right, and then immediately what came in my mind is how you just called me grandma. So there's
But
that.
also, more importantly, it's just nasty.
I mean,
Roll the
having a
hoe.
tough road to hoe, that is a old country reference.
It very much is.
That
I'm
is
all
a
for the
old country reference that us Southerners on the East South know.
Southeast.
Okay. All right. So to give us some guidance on how to create a business for those who are thinking about developing or starting one themselves, each of us have had one rule of thumb that we want to offer to the people. So Savoy, I'm gonna start with you. What is one piece of guidance you could give somebody who is a hopeful business owner in gay culture?
Ooh.
This says have a morning routine for yourself outside of running a business.
On.
What do you mean by that?
Okay, I was like, so I think I said morning routine, but ultimately what I mean is like having something outside your business. Like I think we have completely, really made grind and hustle culture a thing. But I think like having had multiple bouts of exhaustion, anxiety attacks due to the fact that my business was over consuming me. I was waking up and going to bed working. Like, yes, be passionate about what you're doing, be working hard, but also make sure that you're having a morning routine, that you're, whether that be yoga or just reading or just taking 5 minutes to yourself, journaling, whatever the case may be. Make sure that you're talking to your friends, all those different things. It's just like have something outside of your business.
Well, because that's so different than what we hear so often. Because people go all on TikTok and Instagram talking about hustle hard, grind hard, 7 days a week, every day is an opportunity, and blah blah blah. And I've never done that. I mean, I'm sitting here talking to y'all, so I mean, I hustled hard enough, but the idea of say
and it looks different. Everyone hustle looks different.
Okay, say more.
In that just like everybody has different abilities. What might be hard for me might be easy for somebody else to do. So you can't judge your success or lack thereof success comparing yourself to somebody else because you just don't know. Because your story, your path is completely different. It's never been done before.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
That's good.
But also, I think, but also part of that is everybody's hustle. I think to piggyback off of that is that your hustle is going to change. Like who I was when I first started my business 7 years ago and how I was hustling then is totally different than how I'm hustling now. Like allow your hustle to change.
Your priorities
evolve.
Yeah.
Evolve.
Come on, evolve. Yes. That's a sexy word, evolve. Come on.
I love that.
I'm good for a word. JC, you got a tip to give to the people?
What was my tip?
I didn't know that.
Be somewhat delusional because not everyone will understand your dream.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of piggybacking on what I just said. Like, when God, and I'm very spiritual, like I grew up in church, but so my relationship with God is everything to me in my faith. But when God gives you a vision, he gives you that vision, no one else. So nobody else is really going to understand. And I think a lot of my downfall, or not downfall, but a lot of things, something that really held me back was I used to get these ideas and I used to seek validation. And at the time, I would seek validation from the closest person for me, like in a relationship. And if that person, I didn't get that response that I needed from that person or whoever I told, I just thought it was a bad idea without realizing that it was me. It was for me to fulfill that gift, me to fulfill that prophecy, me to, when I decided to move to California, everyone thought I was crazy. You're going to California, you don't know anyone, but I was determined. That's actually one thing that I really like about one of the traits that I'm thankful that I have is like my relentlessness. Like my determination. Like if I put my mind to do something, I don't care how long it takes, I'm going to get it done. So that is the biggest thing, or, you know, that I could say to people is like, you got to be a little delusional. You got to kind of see it before it's actually there. You know, that's
the church people say you got to see it before you see it, or you never will see it.
Literally.
Karen Clark Sheard said that.
Exactly.
Huh.
So, you know.
Because Jay goes to church. Got it. I think that's great. I will say that that I think I'm in the phase where you said you were about seeking validation. Like when I get an idea in my head, the first thing I'm thinking is, who can I partner with to get this done? And what I've learned is the girls don't get it. They don't get it. They just don't get it. And what I absolutely love now, I love when people get an invitation to come on the show and they've never seen it. And they be like, this is like a real thing. Nigga, I know.
Yeah.
I know it's a thing. I'm sitting in the front of the damn mic. Of course I know. They be so surprised because they don't get the vision until they can see it.
Mm-hmm. Like even with me doing this, my studio, when have you ever heard of a content studio with different themed rooms, which I have a full service salon, a showroom that showcases like Black and LGBTQ designers, and an event space all in one. But if you think about it, no one's ever done it. But if you think about it, everything goes together. Because when you do a photo shoot or a video shoot, you got to get your hair done. You got to get your makeup done. You got to get dressed. You need a place to shoot. And why not after the video shoot, we have a wrap party all in one place?
I think the interesting thing about being delusional is, to the person that is delusional, it all makes sense. And I think that's the gotcha. That's why people say you're not gonna see it. Because like if you would have said, well, I want to have a this space and a this space and a this space and a this space, other people are probably thinking that's 4 different buildings. But in your head, it's like it's all the same spot.
And I used to be like, because I worked when I was in LA, when I first started, I worked in department stores like Bloomingdale's, Salvatore Ferragamo, Michael Kors, like stuff like that. So I used to tell people, not realizing what I was saying, that this is what I was talking about. I was like, I want to have like a Michael Kors, but like I want to have but it's like a Sephora too at the same time. And people would look at me like,
that don't go together.
but I just knew what it was, and I just
they like, oh, you want a sax? You want a sax? You want a North?
But no, I want to be able to take pictures too, and then like you can have events there too, and like, but they didn't get it. But
you were Delulu.
God did. What'd you say?
You were Delulu.
Yeah, but it paid off for me at least.
Yes, it did. It did. Okay, what was mine? Hire fast, fire fast. That was mine. But hear me good when I say this, because I'm about to give y'all my little piece of information. Every business needs some overhead. Because if you do not have overhead, you got a side hustle. And when your bills start billing, the first thing that you think when you got a side hustle is, let me just get a job. When your business has a bill, like a person, staff, a studio, you got to figure out, you get real clear on how to make ends meet, about how to make this make sense, and where you need to put your time, effort, and energy so that your business is successful. I think that the faster that you can move away from a side hustle, something that just kind of feeds your addiction or whatever, and into an actual business that has bills to pay, that's when everything gets clear. And I learned that from two mentors that I have. One of them has everything, and his business really is a side hustle, and he ain't got no answers to nothing. And then another one is hyper focused because his business got bills to pay. And he got lights to keep on. And he got rent and payroll and taxes and all of that. And he knows everything he needs to put his energy toward in the day. And he also, like Savoy was saying, knows boundaries, because if it's not them things, he ain't got no time for it. So for me, it was I needed to hire some people. But also I had to fire some people real fast because they didn't get it. So if y'all see somebody in one of these t-shirts that's repping Team Dear Black Gay Men, you know that they get it. But that's mine.
Come on, the girls that get it, get it.
The girls that get it, and the girls that don't, they either got right or they got left. I'm excited.
Okay.
I'm excited. Okay, that was really good. Thank y'all for that. We're gonna take a little bit of a break. After the break, we're gonna be answering a burning question from the DMs. We'll be right back. What do y'all think of fire signs? Like, you're out on a date and they say, I'm a Leo or I'm an Aries. Now, most of the girls ask about your sign in the first conversation so they can start making assumptions about who you are, what you do, and if y'all gonna work together. Ironically, for Thirsty Thursday on Dear Black Gay Men podcast, this episode is produced by a Leo, featuring an Aries and a Sagittarius, so my Virgo ass can figure out why fire signs are so crazy. Hey, teammates. You can put all the stuff up there, Aaron.
You're a Virgo too?
Yes.
That's why we get along so
When's your birthday?
September 10th.
I'm the 18th.
Wow.
We lost Savoy somewhere in the middle, but I hope he'll jump back in. Okay, this is our time to hear from our viewers. This question came from the DMs. An anonymous viewer asked, when did you know your side hustle was a full-fledged business? JC, I'm going to start with you, obviously.
When the bills came and I had to figure out a way to generate income and make it make sense because it was the only thing I had to do. I didn't have no other job to turn to.
Oh God. Okay. I'm sorry, JC.
Yeah,
Sorry about
I
that.
didn't have nowhere
This
else
show
to
is
turn
crazy.
to or no job or no 9 to 5. And you know that it's a real legitimate business when you ain't got another job to fall back on, when this is literally your bread and butter. So you got to figure out how to survive based on this.
But along those same lines, what stopped you from just getting a job?
Because I felt like it would be a side hustle then.
You felt like your business would be a side hustle or the job would be the side hustle?
My business would be a side hustle. That's what I told myself mentally. Now, people might agree or disagree, but I always felt like if I got an actual 9 to 5 job, that it would illegitimize my business. So, because I always wanted to make sure that my business, because you see all the girls, especially on Chasing Dallas, they be like, I do X, Y, Z, but y'all work at a call center, girl. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, God. Okay. I think that's the show. I think we can wrap the show up right there.
But can you really say that you're a business owner? You do it if this is not what you do full time.
I mean, now I will say, you said Chasing Dallas. What comes to my mind is I got a whole bunch of friends that do the OnlyFans, and then they work, and then they work in the call center. And I definitely don't get that. Like, you could not pay me to put my ass and dick on the internet, and then I gotta clock in somewhere. Hell no.
Your business ain't working. That's a hobby.
That is not even a hobby. This is prostitution now. You prostitute your own self out because you over here got your dick scrolling up and down Twitter, but you got a job? The fuck? See, I'm gonna get canceled for that one, but
exactly. The sex work is work.
Sex work is work. But if you are going to have to work in sex, especially under your own volition, because we're not talking about porn studios, we are talking about OnlyFans. This is your phone, your content, your platform, your everything. If you are going to work in sex work, then you should make sex work for you.
I agree.
I think that is a crazy statement, because I think at any time, honestly, if we're talking about all our businesses, it takes time to build clientele. It takes time to build and create a business. So that first month that you are making OnlyFans content, you might not be able to, that is what your priority may be. But at the end of the day, you still got to make money because you also got to create the business. So you need time to create the business.
I think the hard part for me to process in that is doing. Now, we're not talking about sex work in the more traditional sense. We talking about legitimately
But I
OnlyFans,
think
just for
it's
fans,
all
and all
the
that.
same because it's
I
building
don't think it's
clientele,
all the
though.
same. I don't think
I
it's all
think
the
building
same.
clientele, I think at the end of the day, it's the same because you still have to build clientele. Like, you have
I
to create an
agree.
audience. You have to
But I
create people
think
who want to buy the product.
that doing OnlyFans is something that you're diving into something. You are knees to the ground, as JC just said, because the girls know who you are. And
Some of the girls, a lot of the girls don't show their
I
faces.
really think that the girls the girls don't know when to take the plunge. Like, my story is I was laid off from a job, not because I was creating content, but I was laid off, and I was like, I could either not find a new job and make it work or not. And I think that if you're going to do the OnlyFans, you got to get real clear about what your next step is. And I think that's what I'm saying.
You have to have a plan. Just like
Yeah.
Diamond at the strip club, you got to have a plan. Are you
Yeah,
gonna do this
100%.
life for 4 years, to get out of college?
Now, what I am saying,
I don't
though,
think
on
that
top
I'm not
of that,
saying.
go ahead.
I want to be clear. I'm not saying, but I think building the business, building the clientele is having a plan. Like, it's going to take some. That's still like that. You can't. It's not just going to happen overnight.
I agree, it's not going to happen overnight. But what I am saying is, it couldn't be me. Like, if Jay is going to make the commitment to putting my naked body on the internet for others to consume, then Jay ain't going to be working for nobody else, because my body is bodying enough.
Okay, I'm going to shut up.
And now the business
I
minded
feel
in
the
me
same
is
way.
thinking,
I'm sorry.
Like
I
could
think
do
that,
a
like,
podcast.
If I'm naked on the internet and you see me walking around a call center.
I think that at the end of the day,
that don't make no sense to me.
I think that y'all are really being obtuse about this, because I think, like, at the end of the day, there are
Obtuse
many.
is a good PR word.
I try.
I'm gonna use that too.
Go ahead, but
Okay. Multiple Grammy nominated campaign. But nonetheless, I think, like, in LA, there are many working actors. They're working to get jobs, but they also gotta still pay the bills, because you don't know when. Like, I think sex work to me is just. I think sex work is just like, I think when you're talking. Well, I'll say this: when you are talking about sex content creation, or porn creation, you are talking about, like, it is essentially like it's building. You have to build a resume. Yeah, you have to build a resume.
I
that
don't
doesn't happen
disagree with
overnight.
anything you're saying. I'm just saying that could not be me.
Okay.
I could not, in good conscience, put my naked body on the internet for the purpose of making money, and that not be my bread and butter. And I agree. Just like this podcast, when I became a full-time podcaster, it wasn't paying the bills, but I knew I had to commit to it. And I think that and for me, what I'm saying is, if being naked on the internet is the venture that I think is going to do it for me, then if I did that instead of podcasting, I would have committed to it full time a lot sooner. But because I'm a podcaster and I have the luxury of some level of anonymity, and I'm not naked, and I'm not all these other things that come along with creating content of that nature, I did stick with my job for a little longer. But if I was going to be like, OnlyFans is it for me, that first $9.99 somebody spent or whatever, that's when I would have quit the job. I would have just made that, I would have ripped the Band-Aid off a lot faster. That's what I'm saying.
And I think the two, like, I would like to add, like, something I forgot to add earlier is, like, you're gonna have to, it's not easy, and you're gonna have to struggle initially. Like, and a lot of people, this is what prevents a lot of people from going into getting their own business, because they want to skip that struggle phase. I feel like there is always a struggle phase, and the more you put it off, the more you're putting off, like, your destiny or your success, because then the struggle phase, what I call it, that's where you learn your character. That's where you learn what you can actually do. That's what you learn. How you survive with nothing. Like, that is where you build at. But you can't you can't skip that step.
No, I want to hear that response. Go ahead, Savoy. I want to hear that.
I think at the end of the day, you can't. It is when building a business, especially in the beginning, you have to be open to. You can't put all your eggs in one basket right away, and I also think you have to be open to change. Like, so I just don't think that, like, just because I say I'm going to, if I'm going to be this, just because I say I'm going to be an OnlyFans content creator, I can create as much fucking content as I want. But if nobody's watching it, and I still have to pay rent. And that doesn't mean that I'm not going through the struggle phase. That just means that I have not been able to build up the clientele. It's all about, like, there's a plan and there's a strategy, and nothing it happens overnight. That's all I'm saying. And
Okay.
And I agree. I agree with you.
I think we're saying the same thing.
No, are saying, no, it sounds like you are saying that if I say I'm going to do OnlyFans, then baby, there ain't no other job. And I don't think
me.
For you.
Okay.
For me.
Me too.
Okay.
Like that. Now, it could be ego. It could be me being obtuse. It could be a whole bunch of reasons that I'm willing to accept.
For me.
But if OnlyFans is the business that Jay the gentleman is pursuing, ain't no other venture out there that it can be adjacent to that.
Okay. And I receive.
But I do acknowledge, though, that any business, especially because sex work is a business, it is actual work. It is important work because you
gotta help people get their nut.
You gotta help people get their nut. But any business, every single business, including sex work of every kind, does take time to build a clientele, so on and so forth. I absolutely agree with that. I'm just saying, for me, I would not be one of the girls that would be out here, dick up on the internet on Tuesday. Thank you for calling on Wednesday. That would not be my road to hoe.
Okay. Okay, Shekinah, we understand. That's not your lifestyle. We understand, Shekinah. It's not your life. I don't understand that lifestyle. We get it. We understand.
I enjoy y'all so much. You can take that down here. I'm enjoying this so much. I appreciate y'all. I'll have to invite y'all back. Okay, let's take our last break. We'll be right back. I think I lead a pretty normal life. I'm a podcaster and a content creator. I'm pursuing my passions. So many of us, Black gay people, either live with a reality or a fear of HIV. Any movement toward a future where HIV is less of a part of who we are, I don't know that I can think of anything more impactful to our culture. All right, teammates, I would like to thank my guests. Jay, you can watch JC Jones on this season of Chasing Dallas, streaming on YouTube, and stream Eat, Pray, Thought, Savoy Jefferson's podcast, everywhere that you get your podcast. You can connect with either of them on IG. Links to their socials are in the description. Who'd have thunk that a podcast could be a business? I definitely didn't. Sitting in the chair, talking to people on the internet could be a business that pays my bills, gives me opportunities to travel, hire some people, and do what I love. If nothing else, this podcast should show you that if there is something you want to do, something that lights you up, and you're vulnerable enough to pursue it, it is possible. So, dear Black gay men, your next move been waiting on you at the door. That was our show. I am Jay the Gentleman. That's at JAI the Gentleman on IG and Facebook. This episode made you feel a little more dope. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube, like the video, and share it with someone who needs a dopest reminder. If you want to support Dear Black Gay Men podcast, the easiest way is to pick up your Dear Black Gay Men t-shirt or hoodie. You can shop now at dearblackgaymen.shop. I am Jay the Gentleman. This has been Dear Black Gay Men podcast, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.